Hello, welcome to another episode of the AW Confidential podcast. I look forward to every single interview I do. I believe in learning something from every one of my conversations, which is why I am so excited about today's guest. Kamal Bolden is a talented actor. He is also an educated man with great awareness for the world around him and the part he plays in it. The actor is known for his role as Wade Davis in Fox's The Resident, Jason Cannell in NBC's Chicago Fire, one of my favorites. He is also remembered for his role in Hulu's Vacation Days. Most recently, Kamal can be seen in one of my absolute favorite shows, NBC's The Endgame, as Owen Turner. Kamal, welcome. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Yes, I'm glad to be here. Super excited. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. I am, first of all, I have to admit to you, which I did off camera, I'm in love with this show. The end game has action, intrigue, and really strong characters that feed into this really complex storyline. It's almost like watching a movie in segments for me, and every episode is better than the next. Now, your character, Owen Turner, is the husband of the FBI agent sort of at the center of this villain's plot. You play, and correct me if I'm wrong, an FBI agent gone bad, seemingly betraying the one he loves. But I don't truly buy the whole thing. I think you're sort of doing bad things, but you're trying to prove something. There is a plot behind that whole story. You're a really complicated man, let me tell you, Owen Turner. So, for those that have not had a chance to see the end game, what would you say sets this show apart from others out there? And I've seen it. And how is this character you're playing different from anyone else that you've done?
Ooh, those are great questions. Well, you summed it up pretty damn well. We should put you on payroll for marketing.
I love it. I love this show.
I can tell it is bleeding through you. We got to set you up with some type of thing. But I would say to answer the first question about the end game, what sets it apart from all of the amazing TV that's out there right now? Like, I mean, we have so many great choices of television to watch. And I would say the reason people keep tuning in week after week for the end game is number one, it's two leads. I think the two leads being, Morena Baccarin and Ryan Michelle Bathe, who you know plays my wife.
Plays your wife.
I think the adversarial yet kind of like slightly like camaraderie they have when they go back and forth in this very complicated story is what makes people tune in. I think you don't see two women leads that are this like fierce, very devoted to their camps. Like for instance, my wife is very devoted to me, and I think that it's funny that you're like there has to be something going on with Owen. He might be good, he might be bad. That
He leaves some clues, like the one he left in that book.
yes.
Eh.
Everything is not what it appears, and I think that that type of thing keeps people tuned in every week. Is that it's not so simple. You don't know where people's allegiances lie, but you know that there's an I was gonna say something. There's an end game. There, I mean, come on now. That's there's this particular end game with each and every character that you find in this show. So I think that that's what keeps people kind of driven to watch it week after week.
Now, about this character, because like all the other characters, they're complicated. It's not, what you see is not really what you get. So, how is this character different from anything else you've done?
I think that is there within lies the answer. I haven't played a character on television yet. I've played some on stage where you don't find out the characters like modus operandi until like the very end. Um, Meaning, they wear their heart on their sleeves, yet there's this one thing that they always kind of withhold that makes you second guess what their motives are, and that's really fun to play. It's very difficult sometimes because when I was filming the first few episodes, I kept coming to the show creator and the showrunners, Nick Wooten and Jake Coburn, and I kept saying like, okay, so tell me what the plan is. Tell me what's going on. And they were like, come on, dude, do you really want to know? Because then you know what your character knows, but then how do you play that you don't know, so you can, don't, you belie it. You don't want to belie some of the answers to the people that you're acting opposite, the other characters. So that was tough for
Wow.
me not to
I can't.
know what I wanted
That's
to know.
hard.
It's
That's
really
very.
hard. It's really hard. So, but it
Now,
helped. It helped. Yeah.
it helped. So the characters of this show are, the only way for me to describe it is robust. And some of the relationships, such as Owen, Val, Elena Fedorova, and Val, are filled with intensity, and they're not necessarily black and white, which is exactly what you said a few minutes ago. So what attracted you to this character, and how were you as a man able to connect to this? And I'm not sure, I think it's an inner conflict in order to play him so well, because it's a tough character.
Yeah. You know what? The first thing that I read was when I got the audition. I did it like over a Zoom or whatever, and the first sides that they gave me, it was the first time you're introduced to Owen is presenting his wife with divorce papers. And it's, the relationship between Val and Owen goes back to they were 5 years old. Can you imagine uncoupling yourself, separating yourself from the person you've loved as not only your romantic partner, your soul partner, your not just your better half. I don't even know what that particularly feels like to go back that far back. Best friends, lovers, confidants, and that intrigued me. I said, what would make a man divorce his wife after all of this? What plan does he have in place? What is the greater good? What could be worth that much? And when I asked myself that question just in the audition, I was intrigued. I was sold. I was like, if I get this role, I'm the luckiest man in the world, and this is gold right here. So
Wow.
it's been a pleasure playing it. It's been frustrating playing it, especially when I get these like DMs and these calls and these texts like, you better protect your wife, man. Like, women are like, so what's up with Owen? Does he love her? Does he really love her? Does he love Val?
I think he does. I think there is something there.
Yeah.
But without giving too much away, and I have to say it's been challenging to get to the root of your character. Will we be surprised by the twists and turns Owen's story takes? Can you give us any spoilers? I know you can't, but
Come
give us some
on, you
hope.
guys. Come on. Don't do that to me.
All
Don't do it.
right, all right, all
Listen,
right.
listen. I will answer the first question. You said, will you be surprised? Absolutely, yes.
Man, I
Absolutely.
won't, because I know. I just know.
Yes, absolutely.
But you have a
Absolutely.
good poker face, though. So we're gonna switch
You
it up a little bit because I'm gonna keep digging for answers. So,
know.
so I read that you've been working on this project, 61st Street, which just started, and it's with Courtney Vance on the AMC channel. You play a Chicago police officer, and it sounds like you're caught between your badge and your community. I haven't seen it yet, but I will be binging. Can you share a bit about that project, your character, and, my own curiosity, any challenges that you faced playing this character during a time when relationships between our communities and law enforcement have been a bit charged? I know that was a mouthful, but
No, 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 no. It was beautifully stated, and a bit charged is an understatement. It's
yeah.
still a very incendiary topic to not only discuss but to experience as we go out in our communities. I would say that 61st Street is a very, very powerful and important show. I like to call it. I was just watching the NBA playoffs right now, right? And they have this thing called a heat check. So when a player's getting hot, three shots in a row, swish, 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 they shoot that fourth one just to say like, am I hot? Am I on fire? Like it's that heat check. And I feel like 61st Street is a heart check.
Mm.
I think it's the type of show that comes along every so often when it's necessary, even though this was written like 5, 6 years ago before we actually started filming it. Yeah. But
Mm.
that just goes to show you that so many, like you said, the relationship between our law enforcement, our criminal justice system, our legislature, everything in our communities is very strained. And I think this show comes along because it's not your normal courtroom drama, but it does show you the very direct ties between what happens with the people who we have elected to protect and serve us and to make our laws, and what happens when there is no accountability, there's no representation, there's a strained relationship, and then what happens in the community and what happened, like not only just the 2 or 3 people who are in the courtroom, how they're affected, but the entire community has to make a choice of how they're going to deal with what's going on. And so as the viewer, it really begs you to ask, where's your heart at today? Not
Oof.
between like good and bad or right and wrong, but how does your heart feel about these particular situations being put there? So the show is not the easiest watch. I know that's not selling the show, but it's the most important and necessary watch. There's a lot of love in it. There is a lot of love in it though. So
So you would say it may make some viewers feel uncomfortable.
yes, very, very
Okay.
uncomfortable. And I think there's uncomfortable conversations that have to be had. And Yvette, that's why I think art kind of plays that like arbitrator where, to have this conversation, we give you like basically like an artifact, this particular show and say, hey, here's something that's very well thought out, very well presented, very well acted and directed, and all these particular things. And this is something to help you have that uncomfortable conversation, to make it a little less uncomfortable. Still going to be uncomfortable, but it's a little more digestible because we're giving it to you in a very almost non biased way to have people, the viewers. So if you're sitting at home with your friends or your family or whatever, you can have these conversations based upon this show to help you, guide you through these particular characters that you might identify with. So I'm
Mm.
happy to be a
So
part of it. I'm proud.
so this character is very different from Owen Turner.
Very
Was
different.
it uncomfortable for you to play or was it challenging?
Very. And I had some really in-depth discussions with our showrunner, David Shanks, who is a former CPD police officer in Chicago, black male. And I had to ask him, like, hey, you and Peter Moffat have written some pretty tough situations for Danny Young, who I'm playing, being a black cop on the South Side, but in pretty much an all-white male unit. And I was like, how do you deal with these particular things? Because this is your job, and the reasons why someone chooses to protect their community, to put on that badge every single day, that uniform, carry a gun, carry a stun gun, and all these particular a taser, you know, this delves deeply into what drives that decision to put your life on the line every day, and what happens when you are in danger or you are thought to be in danger by people who look like you.
Oof.
Really tough.
We could talk about this all day and probably every day for the rest of our life because it's a difficult topic. So I'm really happy that you're taking part in these type of projects. So thank you for sharing those. I'd rather say a little bit personal thoughts, and um, I think the audience will appreciate that. Now, one of the things that I love to do
Hmm.
towards the end of our interviews is leave people with a message, a piece of advice to inspire. So there was an interview, because I did my research, where you said, and I love it and I'm going to use it and just pass it on. You said, who you are and what you are is your calling card. I absolutely love that. And watch my posts because I will be quoting you. So, who is Kamal Bolden and what is your calling card?
Wow, that's deep. I am a black male American whose purpose is to reflect love, um, accept love, protect, and express the deepest things that have been gifted to me through my experiences and the people around me. So, my calling card then is being able to kind of not necessarily distill. I think that's the wrong word. That's the word that came to mind is distill, but that I feel like that's like breaking things down to like the very basic molecules of what it is. But maybe that is the right word. But anyway, my calling card is to take all of these wonderful experiences, the tough ones, the beautiful ones, um, that I have been able to live through family, friends, and everything I've been through in this career, and instill them into these characters to breathe like truth and honesty through them.
Oof,
Um, that's the most important thing I could do right
I
now
love
is to
that.
is to live out, whatever is inside me artistically is to put it out there without judgment,
I
you know.
love that. Now, for anyone who has not figured out their own calling card, what is your best advice to start getting the answer to that question?
Mm. Woo! I wasn't prepared for this.
Come on, I'm a tough interviewer.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Woo! Okay, I would say sit still.
Oof,
I would say
that's
sit
all you
still.
had to say. Wow.
I think once you sit still, your creator, whoever you believe in, and your highest sense of self will speak to you unimpeded. And once you sit still for however long it takes to receive the answer, it'll be made clear, and you'll never question it after that. And then
See?
it's up to you to go forward in the world and to not be discouraged. Uh, Discouragement will always happen, but to not allow that discouragement, those distractions, those obstacles in your way to take you away from carrying out that answer you were given. But it already
See,
resides.
I was right at the beginning of the interview when I said that you are a man of awareness, and I can tell. I am so happy that you joined us today. And I really do hope that our audience and everyone just embraces the end game and your new project, 61st Street. So please tell our listeners how they can find you and how they can find the end game and 61st Street.
Yes, yes. So you can find me on Instagram, just my first and last name at Kamal Bolden. Facebook, Kamal Angelo Bolden. Can't change that. Facebook is as goes all the way back.
Trust me, I know.
You can get the end game. You can watch that on NBC Monday nights at 10 or 9 Central. You can also catch it the next day on Peacock. And you can find 61st Street, my newest show on AMC. That's Sunday nights at 10 or 9 Central, and that's also on AMC Plus, which is online, as well as All Black, another online platform to watch the show. And I think the last thing
Um,
I'll say about that too is that um, I was thinking about what else made 61st Street kind of similar to the end game is also its women leads, how strong and how well written the leads are. Um, they're not accessories to the male leads. They're not these sidekicks, or they're not written very didactically, where it's just very one dimensional. Andreen Hammond Ward and Anjanou Ellis, our leads in 61st Street parallel the leads that I have in the end game because they're like heroes. They're very well written, very well fleshed out, very and just intelligent and beautiful human beings. They're three dimensional, so
yeah.
I'm lucky to
And
watch that.
not to knock anything, but if we're being honest, the reason why I initially turned the dial to watch the show was because of the two female leads, because I'm all about women empowerment. I am a woman, I have a daughter, and I want I want to see those characters, and I think we need to see more of them. And you're right, they're not accessories. They are the sort of, the plot revolves around them. And I absolutely love that. But, like I said, the entire ensemble is just filled with strong characters, strong actors. So thank you so much for being part of that, being part of our interview today. And I want to thank you. Thank you so
Thank you.
much for being here and sharing your story.
I
And
appreciate
thank you, well, I appreciate you being here, Kamal. Thank you, listeners, for joining us on another episode of the AW Confidential podcast with Kamal Bolden.